EA have dropped their first gameplay patch on FC25 and everyone wants to know what is the best post-patch custom tactics. If you didn't know, the speed boost has been slightly nerfed, still somewhat effective with certain players, but nowhere near as overpowered as it once was. I'm going to give you not one, not two, but 3 custom tactics for our full game plans for when you're in a game in Division Rivals, Champs, whatever it is, to basically ensure that you have every tactic available to help you win those matches. Codes will be provided as well, so you can use them to import them in. I would recommend that you watch to at least get an understanding of why we're doing what we're doing and how we're doing it. I recently put a tweet out which has done fairly well, which I will talk to you about as well before we go into the tactics, which is actually about basically the one thing I was been thinking about is playing players out of their position. So if I put Griezmann at left wing, for example, he gets that little exclamation mark. Is it still usable? No, it's not. I tried Griezmann at centre attacking mid and I tried Chiesa at left mid. When they are out of position, their AI movement is absolutely terrible. They literally stand there and chill. They don't do anything. It's really, really frustrating. So you can't do it. And what that means is that basically when you're setting up tactics, you need to try and have it so everyone is in these positions, which isn't always possible for your full game plans. I've said I will test it in defense. A lot of feedback from others in the community of that they find that it's not very good either, even in defense. But either way, that's something for you to take note of. So we've got, as I said, 3 tactics for you. The first tactic, these are how I have them set up. My default tactic, which is what I start in, the 4-2-4, that is my tactic I change to when stuff has gone wrong. I'm 3-0 down. It's the 60th minute. I can't score a goal, and I need to find a way to score a goal. This tactic does that. This is the formation that I start the game in, the 4-4-2 defensive. And that's what it pops up as when I press left in the game on the D-pad to pull this up. And then we have the 4-4-2 attacking, and we just have one little change there. So let me walk you through them. So this is what I start the game with, and this is very similar to the 4-4-2 that we put out the other week. And if you've watched that, you'll know exactly what it is. It's a 4-4-2 flat, and I go short passing build-up style, and I go 55 depth. Now, if we go 60 depth or above, we get the automatic offside trap, which I think is really strong. For me, myself, I've not been a massive fan of it. I've been preferring doing offside traps myself. It's actually really, really strong, the auto offside trap this year, because it does it so much and it maintains the high line so well. So if you're a player that wants that, feel free to have this on 60 or above. If you're on old gen, I always say anywhere between 40 to 60 is fine. Old gen's a bit more of an open game, so a lower depth can be more accessible for a lot of players, something that a lot of people enjoy. A lot of people. Say that anymore, shall I? But I personally am running 55 on this minute. Build-up style, short passing. Your players are going to look to, if the goal's this way, they're going to be facing you. You're the player with the ball. They're going to be facing you. They're going to be coming to you and saying, give me the ball. They're not exactly going to be running in behind anywhere near as much. If you want them to run in behind, I say it all the time, trigger runs, use player looks, use creative runs. However, with FCIQ, the big IQ that it provides, you will find that, people like Thuram on advanced forward, Griezmann on poacher, they do kind of make good runs in themselves as well. So they don't always come short, but they will the majority of the time. So this is how it is without the ball. Obviously a 4-4-2. With the ball, it's going to look like this. I hate it with a passion. I mentioned this in the first tactics video we ever did on FC25. I said, your 2 centre-backs, for some reason, when you have the ball, they part really wide and they leave a massive gap in the middle for the opponent to look for a simple through ball on. And I hated it. I was like, why is it? Basically, community's figured it out. I can't remember who tweeted it, so I apologise, but someone tweeted it out. If you essentially have any of your fullbacks on anything going forward, balanced, attacking wing back, fullback, balanced, whatever, essentially, these guys try to cover the area of effect for where the right back's gone up and their centre back. So if you have them on fullback defend, they tuck in quite narrow and they make a really narrow defensive line, meaning your centre backs don't part ways. And you can't really, you just can't have it. It's so easy for someone to play a through ball. So that's how our defensive line runs up. I'm running sweeper keeper. I like sweeper keeper. I think over the top through balls are pretty good. I think bringing your goalkeeper out is really effective this year because people are struggling to take it past the goalkeeper. Other than chips, chips are pretty strong. So there's a risk reward there to that, but I like sweeper keeper. I think it's really solid. Now I obviously don't want to send everyone forward, so I have one centre mid, which is Thuram. He's like my holding midfielder. He's on defend. He's there to break up the counter every single time. He does a very good job of it. Now, I do run Hamsik on box-to-box plus because that's what he has as his player role. If you don't have a player that has that and you say have someone that's got playmaker, feel free to give that a go as well. You know, you can kind of play more into your players and player roles with this. Just know it is going to be a little bit more aggressive than box-to-box, so you won't find that right centre mid there back defensively as much. Now, I only go one forward on balanced inside forward. The other one's on attack. This is because I don't want to commit all, otherwise this basically makes it a 4-2-4 and it's a little bit too aggressive. I tend to play kind of into the left side, work it across to the right side with Griezmann and then Dembele. The 4-4-2 always works best kind of as a zigzag up and down, up and down, up and down as you're kind of building up, and that helps with that. Obviously Dembele on inside forward and attack. Doesn't do as much defensively. You have to manually pull them back here, but that's okay. I'll go for advanced forward on Thuram. I talked about this so many times in all the tactics videos. I don't really like the striker options. I don't know. There's nothing that's really clicking with me. Poacher, I think when you have Poacher plus plus is a joke. Like, it's ridiculous how the AI can stay on side and you can just play through balls to them. But yeah, well, that's a topic for another day. And I run Griezmann on Poacher. Griezmann does have the false 9++, and he does have advanced forward plus. I'm testing him on Poacher, having a bit more success with it, just to kind of slip him in very quickly, get a finesse shot off, bang and goal. The idea was to have him on false 9 originally, to drop him in, to then look for a finesse from range. Wasn't having as much joy with that. Poacher just seemed to be doing the job. So that's the formation that I start the game in. That's what I rock with and go. I change into this formation if I feel I can get away with having my centre-backs part a little bit, because I've got one fullback on balance, and if I just want to send a little bit more forward. Obviously, I manually bring my fullbacks a lot anyway, but having this here like this just then means that Mendy gets up. So everything else is the exact same. Other than that, Mendy gets forward. That is it. There is nothing else different to this setup. Everything is the same, other than Mendy is on wing back and balance. So he just gets forward that little bit more, gives me an out ball, and that's it. So I change to that when I'm feeling confident I can win this game, you know, even with that more aggressive setup. Or if I'm losing 2-1, 60th minute, before I want to change my 4-2-4, that's kind of what I'll try, sending that extra player forward. Here are the codes for them, because the codes can be a bit glitchy. I'll try and put them in the comment section if I remember. 4-2-4. This is what I run when it's gone bad. It's really bad. All right, I need goals. This is ultra aggressive, so make sure you only run this in that scenario. 4-2-4 balance build-up style, high 70 depth. I did run 95 at one point. Bit overkill. I think 70 is a sweet spot for me. Works okay. And then we go really aggressive in our player roles here. So without ball, it's like that. With balls like this, but we have stopper, defender, balance on both our centre backs, sweeper, keeper. I go wing back on them both on balanced, box to box and playmaker. So more aggressive here. Centre mids are getting forward, and then inside forward on Dembele. Advanced forward. Oh, them two are the wrong way around actually. Sorry, you're meant to be on advanced forward, and you're meant to be on Poacher. Same as what we have in the other setup. Inside forward there on Dembele. He's got the plus here, thankfully. And then Rashford, I go winger, because I don't want them all to be so clumped into the middle. Well, you will find, by the way, I don't know why it does this in the 4-2-4. When you win the ball initially, 25 yards out from goal, for some reason, your forwards will just be kind of sat inside the centre circle. It's really narrow. I don't know why. Yes, I have them on inside forward, but they're really close. Then they kind of move back out, and then they kind of come back in. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one. Either way, though, it works pretty effectively for me. One thing I always remind you to do as well is go into your assignments and ensure that you have these set up correctly. Mine keeps bugging out. I'm putting Hamsik at the back, but I have target player Thuram, near post is Ledley King, and then at back post I want another fairly big player really, so I'll go Bastoni. And just have them there, because corners, yes, are pretty strong. I have got a few corner routines which I will release probably in the future as well for you. And that's what we've got. It's a nice setup. It's what I like. Neymar, I was using on 0 chem. I've dropped him out. I just feel like Rashford's better on 2 chem at least, and Neymar coming off. Again, remember, when you bring players on off the bench, say if I put Diani at left mid, Diani can only play right mid, right wing, striker. If I bring Diani on at left wing, for example, she is out of position. She doesn't have very good AI movement. Not only do they have 0 chemistry style benefits, because they have 0 chem when they come on off the bench, they also don't have the player role because they don't have it. So I'd really make sure when you're making subs, you're bringing the sub on in the role and the position that they have, okay? Otherwise, they're not really that effective. So that is something to take into account. That's what I run, though, at the minute on FC25. Let me know how you find it down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next tactic video. Bye-bye.